We talked to this a little bit before. How difficult is this game for the players, for everyone just kind of
Right.
to be there mentally and emotionally ahead of the holidays?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more difficult this year just because of the kind of the gauntlet of games we've gone through, and kind of the magnitude of the game we played against Arizona. Not to say the other games weren't good, but just the kind of the lead up to that. And I thought our guys really stepped up and played well in a big time environment. So just proud of our guys to bounce back, kind of. Even though like you bounce back after losses, you kind of bounce back from an emotional state, and still do the job tonight and play and kind of keep a purpose. I think that's what guys, you're winning and you subconsciously think that you still want to kind of win a different way. Everybody wants to shoot a little more. You want to play a little more. You want to do things, but the productivity is what is important. And I thought tonight we did a pretty good job of just sticking to our job.
Did you come out making a concerted effort to play through other people other than Zack and Braden? They kind of seemed to, I don't want to say stand down, but you didn't go with them as much as you ordinarily would to start a game, I didn't think.
They high hedged the ball screen, and so we had to get the ball out of his hands and just move it and then play off of that, and then they doubled Zack. So I think Jacksonville had more to do with that, of just saying, hey, let's try to hedge the ball screens, kind of corral the ball screens, get the ball out of Braden's hands, and make other people make some plays. And so no, it wasn't anything from our end. Like we're still going to do stuff, but if people are going to double like that, you're just going to get step in threes. So you got to feel good about the people that you have out there. And it's the one thing I really stay on them about is like, don't come in with predetermined thoughts. Just take what the defense gives you and just keep taking quality shots.
When teams do double Zack, is this what you need from Trey?
Yeah, Trey was active. I thought Trey, he missed a couple layups there, or his numbers would even be better. But, Trey was very active on the glass, and he was just around the basketball. I thought he had a good game.
Can you discuss where you went? You were only up 8 with about 5 minutes left, and it seemed like you hit another gear the last 5 minutes of the first.
Right. Well, I thought those guys played well. A lot of times when you sit there for an hour and a half and, you're cold, you come in and those guys don't play well as they're playing against the other teams, either starters or reserves that have been in the game. And I thought we did some good things. Will Berg, any opportunity he's gotten, he's performed. And he's really worked hard in practice and made a big-time strides. He's just in a tough spot with Zack coming back in a loaded front line. But I thought our guys played well in that stretch right there, and they executed. And, at 5 minutes, we had 9 turnovers. And I said, well, let's see where this total is going to go here. And it stayed at 9, which I thought that was a really, good sign for those guys. They came in and did some good things.
Matt, this is 6 games in a row. I believe now that you've scored at least 88 points, and I think you have a season low of 71. I know some of the points were off of turnovers and steals and easy dunks tonight,
Right.
but this offensive efficiency and ability to put up a lot of points,
Right.
is that different maybe than any team you've had here?
Well, we're not. Our goal isn't, to get to a total number. Our goal is to be efficient. I think that was the key word in your question. We've been a very efficient offensive team for a while now, with different types of teams, and just trying to once you get established, your main players, the other guys just, having great role definition. Can you play where, you can make free throws, you can make open shots, you can not turn the ball over, and then help us execute, and then play off of those guys. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but there's a lot of people out there from a professional standpoint that are just super in their roles, and that's what you have to be. And I think we have a lot of guys that are that way. Braden kind of manipulates the defense through ball screens, and Zack obviously gets a lot of dives and post-ups. Then the other guys kind of fill in. Fletch is probably the next guy in line there. We run stuff for, even though tonight we didn't run a lot of things for him just because they trapped us, they ran at us, they doubled us, they hedged high. So you had to, play basketball. You had to center the basketball and then attack when you had those 4-on-3s and those 3-on-2s.
So this is the second game in a row. You guys generated a lot of steals, generated a lot of scoring opportunities off those steals.
Right.
Is that something that's going to translate the rest of the season, or is that something the way that just these 2 games played out, or
Yeah.
was there a big difference in these last 2 games?
Yeah, it's like the Riddler, right? You're asking a question to someone, I don't have that answer. I hope, it's so hard to beat a good team, if you can't offensive rebound and you can't get in transition. If you just constantly have to score points in the half court, even though I think we have a team that's wired to do so, it's still difficult once you get against those grimy defensive teams that take care of the basketball. So it's just the balance of things. Anytime you can take defense and turn it into points, or you can take a missed shot and turn it into points, I think that just breaks the back of the defense. But that's the goal. I thought the thing that we struggled at last year that we really tried to emphasize, that we've made a little bit of progress, but not a lot of progress, is just deflections and just generating some turnovers without getting out of defensive position. That was something we really wanted to continue to work on and get better. So hopefully, we're making some progress there, but we'll see.
Matt, Zach had 5 assists against Arizona. Might have had it as good or better game passing in the game today, even though the assists aren't there. How has he just grown in that area, being able to move the ball, especially with all the bodies he sees?
Yeah, he's always been simple in that approach. If they double him, he passes instead of forcing the issues. He can split things sometimes. Shoot a little bit of a kind of an off-balance post move, kind of a running jump hook sometimes. But for the most part, when they come and double him, he keeps it simple. He's not someone that has in his mind, hey, I got to get X amount of points, or I think sometimes he'll get that way rebounding, but I think it's an unselfish stat, right? So it's not something like, you get 5 points below your average or 7 points below your average, and it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to him. It doesn't mean anything. As long as we win and we're playing the right way, he's fine.
You mentioned Will a little bit earlier and sort of his ability to get in the game and just kind of do the right things. What have you seen from him in his first 2 years in his development that you really like?
Well, he's had to overcome, bone spurs last year. So he was out for 4 months. So that slowed him down. His biggest hurdle's been Zach, to be frank with you, because we got a good front line. And, now that, he's just going to take 30 minutes right there and zap that. So it's really hard in that capacity. But he does good things against Zach every day in practice. So it's real, right? Sometimes guys in practice will do good things, and you're like, well, look who's guarding him. Like, you know what I mean? As a coach, you're like, is this guy really, trying to guard him right here? Well, Zach's guarding him in the post. He's one-on-one. He's scoring the ball at times. He's making plays. He's getting offensive rebounds on him. So I said on the bench, I said, we've never had anybody that had the physical ability to be good at this level, that tried hard and worked hard every single day, that didn't end up being successful. And, he fits that bill. He is going to be successful here. It just stinks for him that he's kind of got to wait his turn a little bit. But I know if I called his name, he'd be ready and he'd be productive.
Just what's the schedule now? When does your team come back from break?
We'll come back the night of the 26th. So we'll practice the 26th, 27th, 28th, and play Eastern Kentucky the 29th. Cool. Thank you. Yep. Same to you guys.
Matt, is Bill tall or is he good?
Who's that?